Opening ghost packs from every era. Insane! Ruxin the other day uploaded a video called Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a Big Problem, and holy shit, it blew every fucking video that he's uploaded like for the past couple weeks out of the fucking water. So let's give it a watch. I'm pretty interested to see what Ruxin, who enjoys the game primarily through collecting the cards and opening product, has to say about Yu-Gi-Oh! So I want to give it a look.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a major problem.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a major problem.
And no, I'm not, this isn't like just clickbait, because obviously, there's a little bit of going on with the thumbnail and everything, but I think this is pretty serious. What is this major problem, you ask? I got my glasses on today because this is a studious type of video. There's going to be some numbers in here. There's going to be some thinking in here. It's not just opening.
Okay, Ruxin, I'm sorry, but the constant fucking MLG memes and sound effects and shit like it's really distracting. You know what I mean?
And getting hyped, so I had to put the glasses on. Are people quitting the game? Are collectors tired of collecting high rarity cards and putting together binders? Maybe people have finally gotten tired of opening packs? No, it's none of those things. The problem is Konami is printing too many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. How is that possible? You can never have too many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah, you can. Konami has always put out a ton of new sets, but I think we're actually reaching a tipping point. I started thinking about this problem after the release of the most recent set, Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano. I, as a Yu-Gi-Oh content creator, barely realized when this set was releasing. It snuck up on me like the end of a streaming service free trial. Bam, you owe 20 bucks and you didn't even finish that show you were watching. Crap. I went on about opening this set just like I do any new release, posting 3 videos, and I was going to do the usual live stream opening like I normally do, looking for that rarest card. But I immediately noticed a significant disinterest in the set. No one was watching the first opening I posted, which are usually some of the best on the channel. Secondly, a lot of the comments talking about the set were either negative or disinterested.
That's true. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Does suffer from a problem where, unfortunately, a lot of the sets that come out, maybe like 60 to 75% of them, unfortunately, are just like really weak, or just, they're just like garbage reprint sets. Like, do you guys remember like the Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 set? Like, this is basically just another version of that. Let's take a look at the most recent stuff that's come out. Like, Soul Burning Volcano was like awful. Duelist Nexus was awful, except for like one card. Monstrous Revenge, it was like a cute set. It had some nice reprints. I'd call that like a plus. Wild Survivors, this set was awful. Cyberstorm Access, this set was pretty bad. The reprint Legacy sets, pretty bad. Maze of Memories, if you wanted to pull Barone, it was cool. Like, Hypernova and like Amazing Defenders in retrospect are like the only products out of like the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 10 trillion fucking set that have had any real impact or have been like sets that people wanted to collect. Like, maybe you could argue like Monstrous Revenge is like a 2.5, but the rest of these are just like turbo whack. Like, just nobody wants to pull these sets.
Particularly excited for this one, but appreciate the love for older archetypes. I'd like to see future legendary duelists that feature a Ghost, Obelisk, or Slifer. Maybe one day we'll get that. Winged Dragon Raw, you're the only Ghost rare for some reason. I hate this set. I've never in my life opened 20 packs and pulled one super rare. Literally was the worst opening I've ever done. I'm not gonna lie, the Legendary Duelist sets don't excite me too much, but instead of getting a box, I'll get a few packs at the store and see what happens. Way to support your locals, man. Seeing all of this, I decided to check the price of the box. Like, what's the going rate for this thing? And I had a bad feeling because Legendary Duelists usually do not do too well in terms of price, which we're gonna get to. Currently, it sits at about $35.
Oh my god, I was fucking joking.
A ridiculously low amount for a brand new set that released less than a month ago. But this isn't unique for the Legendary Duelist sets. In 2021, Konami released Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm. This set had a similar trajectory in price, currently sitting at about $39 per.
I remember me and my friend Chris, because we both used to work at a game store. We had ordered so much Synchro Storm. We ordered so many boxes of Synchro Storm that just would never sell. And even for like tournament winnings, nobody wanted to pick it up. So what Chris and I would do is, like, between, rounds or whatever we had board, we'd just like, reach our hand inside the box of Synchro Storm and, just crack some packs, Casual theft. We were selling packs for $1.50 just to get it out the door. It was so worthless. Anyways, that's how I pulled 4 Barones over the course of like 3 months. But the owner literally didn't even like give a shit about like Synchro Storm. Like, he just called it like a dead product. He just wanted it out of his store for like storage. Because like in the back, we had like 3 cases of Synchro Storm that were just sitting there. And we're just like, what are we gonna do with it? There's like nothing we could do outside of like maybe crack it all open for singles. But the singles are like worthless unless we're pulling like 10 trillion Barones. You confess to a crime. This is all hypothetical, by the way. This is not a real store. It is a store in my imagination. I am lying. This is Roblox. I'm in the metaverse.
Box. Oh, but Legendary Duels from the Deep released in 2022.
Dog
must
shit
have been
set.
better, right? How about way worse? This box is a whopping $25 per box.
This story is actually supported by the store owner because he gave us explicit permission to do this. We reached a point where we also ordered so many boxes of Duels from the Deep because the owner fucking fucked up and he thought that he was ordering 2, but he ordered like 10 trillion. We ordered so many boxes of this that we reached a point where we went to like the Yu-Gi-Oh players attending that day. By the way, non-OCS local. We were like, hey, we could wager $40 hypothetically and you could roll a dice. And if you beat the store in the dice roll, we would give you a box of legendary duelists for free. And if you lost, you would give the store $40. I think like 5 people rolled and we lost all 5 rolls. It was insane, but it just didn't matter because we had so much extra legendary duelists. And by the way, only one person pulled a forbidden droplet. By the way, this is all hypothetical. It was in the metaverse.
An entire box of 36 packs for $25. That is insane. But is
Can't wait
this
for
just a
Progression
legendary
series to get to
duelist
that.
set issue? Is the composition of those sets messed up and wrong and that's just making them bad? Yes, yes, there is, but it's not the only set that's struggling. While they are the absolute worst offenders of the last few years, nearly every Yu-Gi-Oh set released this year is losing value from its release. And here is the big issue I was alluding to. While I was pondering making this video, I saw a post on Instagram by Beckett Castle TCG, which seems to be a TCG hobby store of some kind. I don't follow them, but someone shared their post and it piqued my interest. They posted a product line update with 3 different TCG updates. One of them referred to Yu-Gi-Oh. They wrote, and I quote, "We have made the unfortunate decision to discontinue carrying Yu-Gi-Oh! In our opinion, the market rates for boxes at release are just absurd, and we're losing thousands per set. We have our current product in clearance on our website with extreme below-cost discounts. For example, Soul Burning Volcano released this past Friday. It's literally
That's
been
fucked up.
a week, guys. Our average cost is $48. I assume that means per box. They didn't say that. They're selling on TCG for $35. Fees and shipping are another 30% of that. I think 30% is a little high, but we're going to do the numbers after this. Duelist Nexus had an average cost of $61 and are selling for $53 before fees and shipping. This is not sustainable. We will
Yeah, unfortunately for like most stores, like carrying sealed product for Yu-Gi-Oh is actually like a death sentence. I've talked to a lot of OTS store owners, I've talked to a lot of non-OTS store owners, and they're just like, yeah, like we try to carry as little like sealed product in store as possible, just because like the profit margins are either razor thin or they're literally just not there. One of my friends, James, he works at an OTS store, and he said that like outside of like the new release case tournament that they host whenever a case tournament happens, they just don't carry anything outside of like maybe 1 or 2 cases of like the newest set because, you know, people want to gamble or whatever. I know we're just complaining. If you were Konami, what would you do? I would make it so that these sets are actually good and like affordable. I would make it so that like stores could like buy these sets at a reasonable price and not have to be fucking gutted on like profit margins or even literally just be in the neg for like ordering Yu-Gi-Oh product in general. I'll try to make like these sets like better and have like better chase cards, have better staples instead of just having it be like 99.99% filler and maybe like 1 or 2 cards that are like super good.
carry Yu-Gi-Oh! Through the 25th anniversary rarity collection on November 3rd, but that will be our last set. Our apologies to our Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. Come clear out our clearance. Now, obviously, that is an extremely sad thing to read, that a hobby store that is literally the blood, sweat, and tears of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, that's where you go to play. That's where you go to find your product at your local place. You see your friends there. You, experience all the new decks and everything before you go to like a YCS and stuff like that. And they're literally unable to buy and sell the product because
That's literally true. OTS stores, non-OTS, LGSs, all that sort of thing. Those are the lifeblood of Yu-Gi-Oh! You could say like, oh, YCS tournaments, oh, like creator tournaments, Twitch stream, like that maybe makes up for like 30% of how people get into the game and interact with Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole. I can guarantee you, none of us would be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! If it weren't for us like seeing our friends on locals days or like going out to hang out with friends at our friend's house to go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or just having like an in-person experience where we're like forced to interact with each other and share a common space and like get trades in. Like that's what makes OTS stores and like local game stores so special. And the fact that like these stores again like are literally just forced into this unsustainable business model is just like turbo fucked up. Like local game stores are the only reason Yu-Gi-Oh! Has reached the peak at where it is right now. And maybe Sykkuno.
it's too expensive. They claim to literally be losing thousands of dollars per release. It depends on how many cases they're buying and everything, but they are losing hundreds to thousands of dollars. This is just a bad thing for Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. If these hobby stores, who are literally the most passionate people in the world about Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh and other TCGs can't afford to buy and sell the cards, who is going to sell them? I know a lot of people think stores do not buy for as much as I buy. Like, I buy a box for 60, stores buy them for 30. That is not true. Distributors do not sell boxes for $30. They sell them for what they said was 48 on average for Legendary Duelist. We're going to estimate $45 on Legendary Duelist. We're going to do $55 on core sets, which they said was like 61, I think, which is probably closer to reality. But we're going to do 55 just to give them a little bit of a chance, right? We're going to see if that $55 a box, can they make money? We're going to assume that they're selling on eBay, and there's going to be eBay fees and then shipping costs. Let me show you just how dire this situation is. First set released this year, Amazing Defenders, selling for $55. First of all, that's how much it costs from distributors, so we already know we're going to lose money on this one. After that whopping 13.25% eBay fee plus 30 cents, you got to add in that 30 cents, and a $5 per box shipping, they're making $42.42. So each box is losing about $12.50. Multiply that by 12 boxes, you end up losing about $150 for a case. And a local store is probably going to be buying at least 10 cases, maybe even more. That's a $1,500 average loss. The second set, one of the best sets of the year, Photon Hypernova. That's got to be making money, right? These are selling for just under $60, a little bit better than Amazing Defenders. With the $8.25 eBay fees plus the $5 shipping, they're netting about $46.75. That's not $55. They're now losing about $8 per box, which is $96 a case, and about $1,000 per 10 cases. Amazing Memories.
Yeah, I remember. Unless you're ordering directly from maybe like the card factory or like the distributors themselves, you are gonna get gutted if you order through like Konami. I remember like I was shown something regarding a distributor site, and holy shit, for like a box of like Photon Hypernova, if you wanted to get it from Konami, it was about like $65 to $70 if you wanted to order it directly from Konami, allegedly. And the fact that like ordering directly from Konami is somehow worse than, you know, just ordering it directly from eBay like after a week, it's like turbo fucked. It's insane.
This set surprised me. It's $61 a box. It's actually doing better than Photon Hypernova. Still at a $48 net though, losing $7 per box, $84 per case, and $840 per 10 cases. Cyberstorm Access, now we're really looking poor. $51 a box, $39 net after all the fees and the shipping and everything, losing $16 per box, $192 per case, and nearly $2,000 per 10 cases. Wild Survivors, they're at $50 a box, $38 net, losing about $17 per box, $204 per case, $2K per 10 cases. I think collector rare sets may be cheaper. I'm not totally sure because I don't have a distributor, but I think you might be able to get those at a little bit less, so maybe the losses aren't quite as bad there because they might be like 50 a box, but even then they're still losing money there. Battles of Legend Monsters Revenge, always a banger set. Battles of Legend is a hard carry for stores, $61 per box, so it's the same thing as we saw earlier, about $840 on a 10 case. You're losing about $84 per case and $7 per box. Now, LOB 25th anniversary, they reprinted the first set ever. It's got to be doing well, and guess what? It is actually doing well. $79 average cost per box. They're making about $63 after fees and shipping, $63.25. Profiting about $8 per box, $96 per case, and $1,000 per 10 cases. That's a banger. It's one of the best sets of the year, and it was just released. But guess what? It was released in July. The first set in the entire year that a store is making money selling on eBay. Oh, but I forgot to mention, you probably had to buy the MRD and SRL and all those with LOB, and let's see how those are doing. MRD is at $58 per box, which is a $45 net, losing $10 per box, $120 per case, $1,200 per 10 cases.
This is just depressing.
There goes all the profits just from Metal Raiders, and I'm sure Pharaoh Servant and Magic Ruler / Spell Ruler are.
This is also just the hypothetical universe in which people are able to actually like sell these products. Like maybe you could have a box of LOB. That doesn't automatically mean just because you have the box and you put it onto eBay that it's gonna sell immediately. More often than not, sets like these, and honestly most Yu-Gi-Oh sets in general and like boxes, unless you're like dealing with like an absolute crack fiend who's just ordering like 50 boxes and really wants to gamble, you're just gonna be sitting on like a toxic asset that's just gonna depreciate over time because you can't get rid of it. And obviously as more time goes on, the more time these sets have to just absolutely tank in value. So what's the price positioning if you're Konami or the retailer? I'm not an OTS store owner. I'm not an economics major. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not saying that I could do better, but I am saying that I could probably do better anyways.
I'm not doing much better. Duelist Nexus, 52 per box. We kind of saw this one earlier.
Nexus
they said
Duelista.
53 per box, so they went up a little bit more generously for the price. $40 per box after fees. Losing 15 a box, 180 per case, 1,800 per 10 cases. And finally, the stinker of them all, the one that really inspired this video, Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano. They only have to pay $45 a box instead of $55 here, so you think that would help. They're $35 per box right now. After fees, it's $25 a box. They're losing $20 per box, $240 per case, and $2,400 per 10 cases. $2,400. That is insane. After seeing that, you might want to say, well, they get to avoid all the shipping fees and everything and the eBay fees because they have a store. They can sell them in store, right? That's true. They can do that, but they're not going to sell nearly the volume most likely. And even if they do, only Photon, Hypernova, Maze of Memories, Battles of Legend, Metal Raiders, and LOB are selling for more than $55. So all those other ones are still losing money even if they have zero fees. And don't forget credit card fees and stuff like that they have to do when people swipe their card in their store. And all those sets besides LOB that are actually profiting are only making $3 to $6 per box. Is that going to cover those credit card fees?
$6.
Is it going to cover their overhead, like their rent, their employees? No, definitely not. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait, Ruxin, why don't the stores just skip the sets that suck? Like, okay, I see that LOB is going to be a great set. I'm going to buy a bunch of LOB. And that's it. I'm not going to buy anything else. Here's why. First of all, they have customers. They have people in their store that want to buy the new set. So that's an obvious first thing that you probably thought of already. Here's something you might not know. Distributors give an allocation of boxes for each set. So if you want to buy a lot of LOB and you want to buy like 100 cases because you know it's going to be awesome, they might only allocate you 5 cases. And so you only get to buy 5. Man, that sucks. And
the most obvious example for stuff like this is for OTS packs. Because if you want to get OTS packs from Konami, or you want to order stuff from Konami, or just any sort of set from Konami overall, Konami will only let you order a very select limit of cases per like every couple weeks. Like for OTS packs, you can maybe at best only get 3 boxes of OTS every 1 or 2 months. For cases, maybe you could order like 5 cases a month. Like you're not allowed to order like 1 trillion cases all at once. You're only allowed to order like X amount of cases because otherwise they're just gonna run out. And either way, you can't get greedy, XD.
You know what else sucks is you might be able to buy a lot more for the bad sets because not as many people are buying them. But if you happen to say skip that set, they're not going to allocate you as much on the next good set. So let's say before LOB, you didn't want to buy whatever was before that, like Cyberstorm Access or something, and you bought 0 of that one because you're like, that's a stinker. I don't want that. When they get to LOB and you go for 100 cases, they might give you 2 cases instead of 5 or 10 or whatever it would have been. So stores feel pressure to like follow through with each new set to buy stuff so that they can get the good ones when they show up. Now, I say all of this we've been talking about not to just like say, let's go to our local store, let's get them a tip jar, let's put our entire paycheck in there so that they make some money. That's not what I'm saying this. I just want to bring up the point that Konami is printing too many sets and they're reprinting too many cards. There are just too many sets to keep up with. Look at this release schedule from the last few months. Wild Survivors, June 2nd release. Battles of Legend, Monsters Revenge, June 23rd release. 5 Legacy box reprints at once.
5.
July 14th release. Duelist Nexus, 2 weeks later. July 28th release. Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano, August 11th release.
I wouldn't say that it's like Konami overprinting or anything, or like making too many reprints. I'd say it's just like a problem of Konami printing too many useless sets. You know what I mean? Like how many of those sets would you say are like actually like meta defining or super important sets? Fucking spoiler alert, like maybe like Soul Burning Volcano and having the Salamangreat shit. That's like 2 cards out of the set. Like that set overall is fucking like peanuts. Konami is just making too many sets that are just too useless. Terrible sets of horrible pull ratios. There's actually been no reason to buy anything since Poe/Dabble. You could literally skip maybe the past like 9 months of Yu-Gi-Oh product and just stick with your good old Sprite or good old Labyrinth or whatever, and you'd be in a perfectly fine position. That's what I did. I literally bought Labyrinth maybe a year ago, and I have made maybe like 1 or 2 changes, and those changes aren't because of new set releases. Those changes are just like, yeah, I guess maybe I'll put Ash Blossom main or play furniture or whatever. Like there's no point in trying to like buy product because like all the product is just fucking worthless. Like, that's just the reality. And the fact that Konami is overprinting so much worthless product really does drive OTS stores and LGSs into the ground, as well as give a lot of player burnout when they're just like looking at like the 9th Legendary Duelist set to come out like this week, and they're just like, Konami, can we just please have like a good set?
That was back to back to back every 2 weeks, and that first one had 5 releases at once, so just throw that in there. I didn't even mention the OTS release on July 19th, so I mean that's a forgotten thing. There's an OTS set too with more reprints, which honestly that's probably a good thing because that just gives people access to, you know, higher rarity for playing in tournaments. So that's probably not something we need to be concerned about, but it's just another thing that's happening. There's so many things coming out in quick succession that players barely have time to like catch up with their decks, play in the meta. I mean, you got to be buying and selling as even a player just to pay for your deck if you don't have like a crazy income because you don't want to pay $2,000 for your deck to play in the next YCS tournament. And collectors like myself barely have time to even attempt to pull the newest Starlights or 25th anniversary cards before a new set drops 25 more of them. I literally open product for a living and I can't pull half of these 25th anniversary cards before there's 25 more of them. And don't get me wrong, I love that there's a lot of high rarity cards. I think it's awesome, but if you're just a regular guy buying like one box and you're trying to collect all the cards, pulling them, there's just absolutely no way. And if you're like buying them, that's 25 times like an average cost of 100, $2,500, like that is insane. And having so many of them out there kind of like lessens the awesomeness of some of them. Like we're getting to the point where like Xtox Hydra is a 25th anniversary card. Like, does that need to be a 25th anniversary? Can we just have like 10 bangers or 5 bangers and, you know, call it a day? I personally think Konami needs to scale back the releases and give each set some room to breathe. This will allow cards to find their current place in the meta, whether they're good, they're bad, whether people want to invest in them and actually play the deck for like maybe a month or 2 instead of 2 weeks. It'll allow high rarity cards to be actually obtained for collectors, and it'll give time for the sets to actually sell for a reasonable price for the local stores. They won't have to be selling at a huge loss for every single set just to move their product, get the cash flow to buy the next product. If Konami were to carefully craft every new set, which I'm sure they are carefully crafting them. I know people at Konami are working hard on these sets.
I'm sure they're carefully
trying to make them
crafting
as good as
Soul Burning
possible.
Volcano.
But if they had an extra like month or let's say, instead of every like, you know, 3 sets a month or 2 sets a month, we did 1 set a month, they'd have twice as long to work on it, perfect each card that needs to be high rarity, that needs to be low rarity, that needs to be playable, that needs to be like a nice common that actually might be valuable in a couple of months when they release a new set. They just have time to balance everything even better. I think this would help keep local stores alive, which in turn would keep Yu-Gi-Oh! Alive, which obviously we all want to see for years to come. I hate saying this because I actually do love new releases, and they're great for me because I get to make tons of content out of new releases and some of the best performing content on my channel. But I am afraid that all this awesomeness right now might slowly choke out Yu-Gi-Oh! In the long run. Let me know what you think about this problem in the comments. It's a little bit of a different video, but it was something I've been thinking about for the last few days, and I want to know your opinion. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.
That's just the reality of product, unfortunately. And Konami's really gotta fix this. Otherwise, again, like LGSs are just gonna start ordering less and less until they reach a point like Beckett, where unfortunately, they just can't realistically even hold on to product anymore. What do you guys think about sealed product? Let me know in the comment section down below.